Hi, my name is Gina and I am incredibly uncertain of my lighting and camera setup at this moment. Today we are going to be doing a collab look with someone here on, she's on YouTube, but this is mostly an Instagram collaboration. Her name is Liz Dagger Beauty and she has started the MTV makeup collab. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to be doing a makeup look based off of a music video, which is super fun. I actually did the first instance of the collab earlier, or I think last week. It was Ariana Grande's 7 Rings video. How it works is Liz picks out a music video inspiration and she also gives us an eyeshadow selection to work with, and we are free to do our looks. Like I said, this is mostly an Instagram collaboration, so if you want to go check it out and all of the looks that everybody did, check out that hashtag MTV Music Collab and you'll be able to see our stuff. This week's entry in the collaboration is Beyonce's music video Lemonade, and the color palette we have is right here. I know the music video or the album, the music, the video are not for me. I totally get that, but it is something that did deeply touch me. So I'm super excited to do a look based off of it today. For collaborations like this, I like to show off. So I want to do something a little bit more complex, a little bit more atypical in terms of color placement and all of that good stuff. I'm filming this before I got started, so what is happening after this is as much of a mystery to you as it is to me, and I'm super excited. So I'm looking at my mirror behind me and it looks like I'm way more lit on this side than I am on this side. So I'm actually gonna like rotate back so that my mirror is there and I just probably feel a lot more comfortable. So let's do that first. Okay, so we are ready to go. My brows are done. They're a little bit darker than I typically do them. I actually used this shade Gulf Coast to do them. It's just a little bright or a little dark for how light my hair is at the moment, but it's fine. It's fine. And my eyes are primed with my Smashbox 24-hour primer, which is everything. So I was kind of looking at like my inspiration. Oh, sorry, I should also note, I put in my contacts as well because since we're gonna do a bunch of detail, I want you guys to be able to just kind of see what's going on, and I don't want to have to be like eating my mirror all the time. So that's where we are. So I have really been feeling like a multicolored crease. So I think that's what I'm going to start with. I still really don't have like a vision for where I want to go, to be perfectly honest, but we're going to start with the multicolored crease because that's what I've been like wanting to do, and we will go from there. I'm going to take this little brush here, the Morphe M506 with Geese and start building that here in the inner corner, at least as soon as I find my mirror. But what I did was I took this, laid this down, and then I put in the green right after it. And the reason why that was a mistake or not something that I wanted to do is because the other matte I have here is a red, and I didn't want to put the red and the green right next to each other. Switch up my brush. I want to do that. Yeah. I'm gonna take my flat fluff. It's a Morphe M433, and go in with Gulf Coast, that red color, and I'll put that right in here. The reason why I like this brush is because it lays down colors flat, like so, but because it's got like a fluffy edge, there's a bit of a taper to it. I just like had a mini panic attack in my head because I was like, Gina, you're still gonna have to put the red and green next to each other, but I'm gonna put the brown in between. So it's fine. It's fine. With Gulf Coast, I want to make sure that this gets nice and high. And then I think I'm gonna wing it out with the next bits. So I'm gonna take that black brown and I'm just gonna drop it in here, but not like a lot, just a little. And I'm more using tapping motions than anything else. And this isn't really supposed to have like its own color. Like, we don't want it to be like, oh hey, there's brown there. But when I put brown there, it gives me more control over the red and green blending together than if I just tried to blend them together like themselves. And now I'm taking that green and I'm gonna put that right over the top of the brown, and this is actually gonna wing out this way. And at the moment it's very, it looks really shitty, so don't freak out too hard. We're gonna make it work. At least I hope so. I'm gonna take my smaller brush, this M506, and just with the tip, I'm gonna come in and fill this little gap a bit so that it's a bit smoother of a line. And then with the brown, and then finally with the green. There you go. And then I'm gonna wipe off the product and then just take it through here and blend it a bit. I think we will end up with another color on top of this, but for the moment, I'm just gonna leave it there, at least on top. And then it kinda, in my mirror, my larger mirror that's like under the camera right now, this area looks kind of thinner. It doesn't show up quite the same way in my 10X, but kind of shore that up some. And then again, taking that brown very lightly with sideways motions, just patting that on in, or not, blending that in. With Gulf Coast, I'm gonna come through here and just feather this out a smidge. And then for now, I'm gonna leave that. I think it is very possible that we'll come back through here and do some other work, but I'm gonna leave it for now, she says as she goes back in with more. I'm gonna take my little floof here. So now we have a floof and a flaff. I'm gonna name all of my brushes before the end of this. This is the Morphe M562, and I'm gonna take that black brown color Eclipse, and very lightly, I don't have very much on my brush, I'm gonna bring it right into the crease. So these colors, the colors that I put in are kind of above the crease, and then this one is right in it. And all I'm trying to do is just darken it up some. Again, like, I don't want the brown to like be its own thing, but we're gonna use it to deepen stuff up. So it needs to be kind of shored up through here. So things are kind of looking a little patchy, which, to be honest, like, I don't think is me. I think it just might be the shadows a bit. I'm going back in with the floof with Geese, and I'm just tapping it over the top of this brown because I didn't want it to be quite that dark. We're just implying shape here is the goal. My pressure here is pretty light. And then I'm gonna take Geese and I'm tapping it off quite a bit. I'm just gonna run it through here as a way to blend out everything that's going on. I have a bump here that both itches and is a little swollen, so that might impact my shape a bit. Interestingly, this green is playing much more true green than I guess I was thinking it would, which is not a bad thing per se, it's just not what I was expecting. This reminds me a lot, this color scheme reminds me a lot of the Capricorn palette from Zodiac Cosmetics, which, had I been a little bit smarter, I would have use that instead. Because those are good shadows. And I'm always happy to shout out good shadows. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this with the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas because it's nice and opaque. And to do that, I'm gonna use this flat, this is called a filbert brush. And I'm cutting right underneath where we put that brown shade because we still want it to like be there. It needs to be there to give that depth we wanted, but we don't need all of it. Sorry, I just had a thought. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I really like this line here. And I was looking at something the other day that like did like this V shape that I'm very interested in. So like if I wanted to keep that and maybe even keep that blank, where does that leave this? I'm gonna go ahead and kind of do what I was planning to do, which is to bring this out here. So this is the thing that I struggle with in terms of getting this shape on top right, because of the way that my eyes are shaped. It can be really difficult to get a wing shape correct, or maybe correct is not the right word, but to get a wing shape the way that I would like my wing shape to be. Especially without doing something like that. Sorry, actually first I'm gonna take my filbert and just kind of smear this out some so it's like, so I don't have a bunch of product hanging out right there. Because I don't know what that would do. And so now I have this bump I gotta even out. I really like and appreciate this liner brush because you can make fluid strokes with it for work like this that's really nice. Alright, so I really like that shape, so I'm gonna try not to mess with the outside that much. So I've got this going on and I'm actually very happy with it, this shape, and it comes in like in here, which I really like too. Now there's the question of like, do I want to completely fill in this wing or do I want to try and like cut it out? Maybe get this, maybe get like a circle here. Don't know. Grabbing a smaller filbert brush so that I can get into this area without being too worried about messing up the lines I made. I realized just now that I didn't really specify that we're doing a specific part of the lemonade video, which the name is escaping me at the moment, but it's like the one where she's taking the baseball bat to all the cars. Oh, maybe instead of something rounded, maybe I'll do something diamond. I think that might be the best bet. To do that, I'm gonna grab one of my flat brushes and then like just on the edge, like just on the tip here, I'll have product and doing my best to keep my brush as perpendicular to my eye as possible. I'm gonna go in here and make those lines. And then very carefully, I'm gonna clean up this line some. I'm literally holding my breath. And I'm gonna try and make this area through here a bit more opaque. Okay. We're not gonna tempt fate anymore today, and we're gonna leave it there. Because I'm relatively happy with that. I'm intrigued by this. Intrigued is like a great way to put it because this is not where I thought we were gonna go. So what's next? No fucking clue. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start using my shimmers, and I'm gonna take them from like most green to least green. So that means I'm going in with BabyLights, then Carrot Cake, and then Lemonade. And Lemonade is the one that like I want to be the brightest and like the most prominent. I'm gonna take Tea Lights with this little brush here. This is the Morphe M213. I'll load it up on my brush. And I'm gonna fill in just the top of this wing for right now. That might be too big. So I'm gonna try this brush. This is another Morphe brush, sorry, an M443. I'm gonna take Tea Lights and I'm gonna pat it on top of the base here. And this is gonna take a few minutes because I'm going in with such a small brush, so just give me a minute. This is a Colourpop shadow that I have very little like experience with, so I'm kind of excited to get to use it. Now I'm going in with Carrot Cake. Carrot is spelled with a K, as associated with gold. I'm gonna grab my pencil brush. It's not like, not sure what's going on with Carrot Cake here, but doing my best. I'm gonna take some on my, I think this is my smallest filbert brush. And this is just to make sure that this line gets, you know, respected. Don't want it in that area. Bad. Bad brush, bad. I might carry those golds down here. I think I will. Because it gives a better like impression of it being a cut out space. These brushes pick up shadow pretty well, I will say. Impressed is not quite the right word, but I'm happy with it and surprised. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go in with this. This is a Ducato spot brush, a spot 0. I don't know why it's called spot brush and the other ones are called like liner and flat and filbert, but you know, whatever. And we're really like, we're not carrying this too far into the lid because we really want Lemonade to stand out and shine here. And it looks like we'll have to go back and shore up this line when we go in to do shadow there. I am getting impatient and I need to calm down. I just realized that I'm gonna have to do this on my other eye. I'm going in with some silicone primer on a brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up this line down here sooner rather than later, because now I have like the memory of where it is and where it's supposed to be, whereas in, you know, an hour when I get back to it, I may not. This is a trick that my hair person, my hairstylist taught me. She used to do wedding makeup, and I think I was bitching to her about how I got the Smashbox 24-hour, or the Smashbox face primer, the photo finish primer, and she was like, actually, this stuff is great for like cleaning up lines of makeup and removing makeup in a way that doesn't like disturb the makeup around it. And I was like, So now we're gonna go in with Lemonade. I'm gonna take this flat brush with that, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in around this line and very carefully put down color there so that I can be sure that the line is there, and then I'll go in with a bigger brush and fill in the rest of the space. And I'm using more patting motions than anything. You can also spray it, and I might do that. It will make it a little bit more, I mean, it'll make it liquidy. And so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on this brush, spray it, and pat it on. But as I do that, I wanna ask you guys something. So I've been thinking a lot about like the content on my channel and like how to categorize some things. And I feel weird talking about this look like it were a tutorial, because it's really not, because I didn't know what I was doing when I started. And I don't feel like I can or should give the pretense that like I'm gonna teach somebody something when I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do what I set out to do when I started. So even though like I'm explaining like what I'm doing, and I am explaining like why I'm doing things, and theoretically someone could watch this and learn a bunch, same shade, different brush. If you saw this label like tutorial on blah blah blah, would you feel like misled? Would you feel like well, this isn't a tutorial, this is just some bitch playing around with eyeshadow? Let me know, because I'm curious, because I want to be like, you know, on the up and up, but I also don't know what like all of the hidden rules of YouTube are. Maybe everything is an eyeshadow tutorial. I don't know. This is very different than I thought it was gonna be, which is not bad, but it's just different. I also feel like I'm just like, this isn't really the video. I just did whatever the fuck I wanted. All right, give me a second, I'm gonna think. Okay, so as I was thinking, I went ahead and did my other eye, got it caught up, and that has kind of helped a little bit figure out what to do with this space, in that it's all the way filled in, whereas this one isn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill that in, and then I think I'm gonna leave it mostly blank, but I might put some dots in it later. We'll see how everything goes. But for now, I'm just gonna take a pencil brush and kind of fill in this area as cleanly and as best as I can, and we'll go from there. And this will also help me cover up some of that those mistakes that I made. So then I'm gonna take this little liner brush here with that brown and kind of shore up the line. Yeah. I'm gonna take this gold from Suva Beauty. It's a green gold. It's called Blazing Lights. I'm just gonna add some dots here in this negative space so it isn't quite as, I don't know, empty. These little pots of liner are stupid expensive, but like I will never have to buy another one ever again. Like I use the black for my like just general purpose black liner, and I'm not even like a quarter of the way through it, and I've had this for 2 or 3 years. They're a good value, even though they're kind of expensive. I have a brush that's supposed to be specifically for spots. It's called a spot brush. I'm really, like, the metallic ones are kind of weird and can get thin, so I'm like really loading it loading it up on my brush, and I didn't use a lot of water. Cool. So with that done, that's our lid, at least I think for now. I'm gonna go ahead and do my base makeup and we'll come back to do the lower lash. I am back. I have just foundation and powder on for now. I am testing out something about the Juvia's Place I Am Magic foundation. I do think that it is a good shade match for me, but in my experience, it takes a long time to actually fully dry down. And when it dries down, it's a bit darker. So instead of just kind of sitting here doing nothing while I wait for it to dry down, I'm just gonna go ahead and do my under eye. I did not put on any concealer. I just brought the foundation up here. And to be honest, I'm very impressed by that. So we're gonna keep the lower lash line pretty brown. And so typically I would try to kind of bring this up to connect here, but instead of doing that, I think I'm just gonna bring it out like straight and do like a little half moon type deal so we can preserve the space in this area. So that's what we're gonna do. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna take Rustic, our more medium brown shade, and I'm gonna pop that right on the lower lash line. This is a pressed pigment, which means it's technically a shimmer, but I don't think it's gonna play that way. We'll see. And we're not pulling that out super far, just enough to establish the shape. My under eyes probably look really ridiculous. I was like, I won't do concealer, and then that was a mistake. So for this, I'm gonna pick up my mirror, look at it straight, and just make sure that it's flat. So now I'm gonna take Geese, that mustard shade, and I'm gonna use that to blend out through here. I love these collabs. Getting inspiration from other people is so cool and so much fun. And seeing what other people do with the same inspiration is also really fun. And I'm trying to keep this shape circular instead of almond shape. So the lowest point is gonna be right down here. And then without any extra product, I'm just gonna blend the crap out of it. It's coming out pretty mustardy, which I don't really like with the top. So I'm gonna take just a smidge, barely a little bit of lemonade, tap it off, and then bring it through here. We're really we're not trying to get the reflect, we're just trying to get that yellowness of it. And then again, with no additional product, just blending the crap out of it. My under eyes look very nice and cakey. Don't really know how I feel about this. We're gonna keep pushing forward and see what we come up with. So I am going to grab my smudger brush again, and I'm gonna go in with, I believe, To Earth? Yeah, To Earth. And I'm really getting into the lower lash line here. I'm gonna grab my floof and grab a little bit of that shimmery brown and kind of work it in this transition area here, very lightly. And by transition area, I mean the transition between the dark green and the mustard yellow. Truthfully, I really don't like it, and I don't know what to do. It's so bright up top because of, Lemonade doing her thing, and then it's so dark and grungy on the bottom. I do think we could use a little bit of the red though. Not that that's gonna make it any better in terms of grunginess, but I think it's a thing that I would like. This reminds me very strongly of like a look I did for like Christmas last year. I'm going to take my Smashbox Photo Finish like face primer, and I'm taking that because it's a little bit more liquidy than the other one I was using, and I'm gonna take some time and carve out this area here a little bit more. The thing that's nice about this stuff is that you can kind of paint it on and then let it sit for a minute and then just take it off, and it's like, oh, all of my stuff that I didn't want to be there is now gone. So now I'm going to take this liner brush and I'm going to get product off of it and then just take it through here and kind of scrape. You can also come through here and use concealer to clean it up, and you would just put it on top. And I might do that eventually, but for now I'm just gonna clean it up this way. Speaking of concealer though, I do think I'm gonna have to go in and place some down in this corridor. This is funny because like when I'm looking down, it's like, oh, it's a straight line, and then I look up and it's like, oh, it's curved. I grabbed this. This is one of the shades I repanned from the Pat McGrath Subliminal palette. It's a very light gold, and I'm gonna take that on my whatever the fuck this is, M506, and I'll put that in the inner corner. So I'm going to take a second and grab like my little brush and go into that dark brown, and I'm gonna go around the crease to kind of give a little bit of that dimension that I was trying to give before. We're being very gentle with it. This color is incredibly pigmented, and I just want that shape. I don't want to take over the colors. I just want the appearance of a shadow. So something that I feel like I'm lacking here is texture on the lid. It's all very smooth. So I'm going to take this glitter. This is Golden Sun Yellow from Super Glitters. And really, like, I don't want a lot here. I really don't. And I'm very, to be quite honest, I'm very afraid that I will like cover this with glitter, and that's not what I want. But I'm gonna take some mixing medium and I'm gonna spray it on my finger. Let's do my ring finger. And I'm gonna take from the lid just a bit, and it does, it almost entirely covers my finger. So I'm gonna flick it off and get glitter everywhere. And I'm just gonna tap it very lightly through here because we don't want that much. We just want some texture. This is a very different kind of texture than I was anticipating. For the sake of uniformity, I'll go ahead and do that on the other side too. I'm grabbing Touch of Glam's Cleopatra's crown and just putting that on my finger and dabbing some of that on. These shadows have great texture, and they are like almost always when I am being like, this just needs like a little something more, this is what I go for. I love them. There we go. So I think that's basically it. I'm going to finish up the look, do the rest of my face, do liner. I'm gonna do lashes for like a completely separate reason, and then I will be back to wrap up the look. Okay, so that is the finished look. What do you think? To be honest, I have to say that I don't love it. I like the execution of everything, and I love kind of the happy accident of this negative space in the center here, but ultimately I kind of don't feel like it does a great job of like reflecting the video. So I actually might take another turn at this at some point. I put on the Ardell, oh my gosh, the Ardell Double Ups. And I don't know who told me that flares were easier to put on than strip lashes, but they're a dirty liar. I have Colourpop Ultra Satin Lip in Prim on my lips, which I think looks really cool. And then everything else was just kind of black. Black liner, black mascara, all of that good stuff. So, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up if you like artistic makeup looks and how to execute them. If you like me and my flowing red hair, please do subscribe to the channel. I upload on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, at least for the foreseeable future. I hope that you're having a great day wherever you are, and please don't forget to think critically, deeply, and meaningfully engage the world around you as you're being good to yourself and good to other people as well. I'll see you out there on the internet.